So in the build up to the release of Avengers Endgame, I've seen a number of trailers pop up for other movies, and I've watched a number of these trailers, and there's three in particular that just look really bad, really terrible, and I'm going to cover them in this video and explain why they look bad. But there is one movie right at the end, and I actually think it's going to be a great movie. In the summer, I think it's going to be a surprise here that many people talk about, and it's going to be one of those movies that just comes out of nowhere and does really well. So the first movie, as you can see, is Godzilla 2, and I'm not going to show these trailers because you can get penalised, but I will link to them. And this one just seems full of cliches, like this girl is invincible, she cannot die in any way, everybody around her will be killed, but this young girl will survive everything. And her parents work for the government as advisors. There's like the military person who's like a small-time soldier, yet he becomes the main hero. It's just full of cliches, story tropes that have been done many times before. And the only thing they've got is the CGI. It's so reliant upon the CGI that everything else is just almost irrelevant. And it's really frustrating because someone very talented like Quentin Tarantino, he could turn this material into a great movie. But they just refer back to the old stereotypes of like soldiers who become massive heroes, and the young girl is just completely invincible. Is a bit like a tank driving around a mouse, and the mouse survives and everybody else dies. Just really poorly written. Yet there's actually great material they could make a great movie out of. So for me, when I see these trailers for this Godzilla 2, it looks really disappointing, and it looks like it'd be a great big turkey in a really trashy movie. Now the second one is Gemini Man, and I've left this clip in deliberately, and what it is, it's a Will Smith movie, and the concept appears to be that it's Will Smith, and when he was 25 years younger, he was cloned, and it's Will Smith who's 50 years old, and his clone who's 25 years younger is trying to kill the 50-year-old Will Smith. And what they've done, they've put a CGI face of Will Smith onto the other man. So it's very similar to Samuel L. Jackson in Captain Marvel. Now in the trailer that Will Smith released, he says that this is groundbreaking CGI. But I haven't seen any groundbreaking CGI because the whole facial thing of making them look younger has been done before with Samuel L. Jackson. But this clip, if you watch it, the way they engineer this motorbike, the idea the motorbike flies off and it just misses Will Smith and then it smashes into the wall and blows up, and the whole CGI element of it is terrible, and the guy lands really awkwardly. It's just really terrible CGI, and also it's going to look very strange. There is a scene of it with Will Smith 50 years old and himself 25 years younger in the same room, and it's so obvious it's CGI you can't get beyond it. Whereas when you have Samuel L. Jackson on his own, you kind of forget that he's actually much older, that he might be another 25 or 30 years older than what he actually appears in 1995 in Captain Marvel. So it's more believable. But in this, having Will Smith in the same room as himself CGI'd, it looks really weird, it looks really strange, and it's so obvious. It's not believable. You can't get beyond the idea that it's just CGI. So for me, this movie is over the top, really bad CGI, the concept is quite poor, and also the concept is that the older Will Smith, he's able to know what his clone is doing and how he's trying to kill him. So Will Smith keeps dodging everything that his younger version tries to kill him, and yet that's not how clones work. You can't read the mind of your clone. You might have the same physical attributes and some of the same training, but the idea that he can actually read his mind effectively and dodge what he's going to do is just quite ridiculous. It doesn't make any sense. It's just a silly concept with silly CGI. Again, it looks really bad movie. And the third one is this Fast and Furious 9, and there's a bit of confusion because it says Fast and Furious 9 and also Hobbs and Shaw, but some people are saying it's a spin-off and some it's an official episode or series of Fast and Furious. And this movie is actually quite weird, or it looks quite normal on the surface, but what it is, it's got Idris Elba in it, and the concept is that he's been genetically modified. He goes under some sort of scientific procedure and he's effectively bulletproof, and it's a very strange concept. It's inserting the science fiction into an action movie that doesn't fit at all, and it looks like they've completely run out of ideas, and what they're going to try and do is insert elements of superhero movie or extreme science fiction, and it doesn't make any sense. How can someone go through a scientific process and become bulletproof and then have this chasing cars? It seems very bizarre, very childish concept. There will be some fans who like, but based on your IQ level, if you're someone who likes intelligent movies, if you're a fan of Godfather 2, that type of movie, you're going to think this is just ridiculous. It doesn't make any sense. And it has Idris Elba's character fighting against two men, then he punches them, and they go flying. If you punch somebody, they go flying, they're dead. You've effectively killed them, you've knocked them out, and yet The Rock just stands up as if he was just flicked. It's all that sort of silly nonsense and throwing out reality. It's not my sort of movie, and it's a real shame that they've done this to Fast and Furious. Because the original Fast and Furious movie was a really good movie, but this concept of trying to inject invincible people into this type of storyline just looked childish and silly. So these are 3 movies that are really poor. I think they'll do really badly. I think Fast and Furious 9 will make a lot of money because it's got the Fast and Furious name. Whereas these two, I think Godzilla and Gemini Man might crack because they just look really silly. Now, the actual movie that I think could do really well this summer is this movie, Anna. And it's based on like a Russian super agent or secret agent. And in real life, she's actually a Russian supermodel. And she was in a previous movie by Luc Besson. So it's Luc Besson as the director. Now, this is the movie that I think will be the surprise hit of the summer. And it's called Anna. And it's being made by Luc Besson. So it has the potential to be a great movie. And it's based on a Russian secret agent. And the actress is actually a Russian supermodel, and she looks actually quite convincing, and it does appear quite similar. The action sequence is quite similar to John Wick, so hopefully it's not too much of a copy of John Wick. It's more of a resemblance of that action sequences, which is completely fine because John Wick is a great movie, so more the merits, as long as they don't copy it. But for me, this will be the surprise hit of the summer. Whereas these 3 movies, I think Godzilla 2 and Gemini, I think they'll do quite poorly because they look silly. Whereas Fast and Furious, because it's got the name, it will attract a lot of fans. There'll be fans who pay even though the trailers look awful. That's a bit sad, in my opinion. You should judge a movie based on its credits, not based on its name. But let me know what you think in the comments below. I'll leave links to each of these trailers. But to be honest, I'm quite a good judge of trailers. When I see a trailer and it looks bad, the movie often goes on to crash and does really badly. Yet if I see a trailer that looks really good, it does well. I'm quite good at judging movies. So for me, this Anna movie, based on the trailer, I think it'd be a great movie and a surprise hit of the summer. So again, leave your comments below, let me know what you think, and also like and subscribe.